Hi, this is Jasper coming to you live from Denmark. I just want to talk about a few new books that I read and tell you what I'm reading currently, monthly, and a few mini-series that I'm reading. Sorry, I have a piece of paper. I'm just going to get that out. Right now I'm reading Uncanny X-Men because I've read Uncanny X-Men since the early 80s, 70s, late 70s, early 80s, and I'm still reading it. And it's not very good. It's not been very good for since the mid 80s or something like that. Late 80s, maybe. It is what it is, right? Early 90s, maybe. I can't remember. When Chris Claremont stopped writing, it turned into. It was a mess. Then it became good for a while. Bendis did the X. Anyway, it's a long story. I'm reading Uncanny X-Men. It's still being published. I think there's a few issues left. Black Badge from Boom Studio. I still like that. East of West, best comic series monthly right now from Image. Hickman and Dragata. Brilliant. East of West. Pick it up. Deadly Class from Image as well. Immortal Hulk from Marvel. Isola from Image. And Southern Bastards from Image. No DC monthly. It's just they're not good enough right now. Doomsday Clock. I'm reading miniseries. Doomsday Clock, Superman Year 1. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. X-Men Grand Design. Symbiote SpiderMan and SpiderMan Life Story. Oh, and I'm also reading The Goon. That's a new series, but I'm reading that. That's old, but it's republished. It's very good. It's very entertaining. So I'm going to talk about a few comics that I read. They're old for you, and they're old here in Denmark as well, but they're kind of new because I just read them. So. Spider-Man Life Story. The whole story of Spider-Man starting in the 60s and moving a decade up with each issue. So the first one in the 60s, 70s, 80s, this is the 90s. And Spider-Man is getting older, and he's getting married and all that. It's Chip Zdarsky, whom I don't really care for as a writer. The idea is very good. The character work and the dialogue is lacking. The artwork is okay. It's Mark Bagley from the 90s. I can't remember if he's doing all of them, but he's doing this one. It's the artwork is good. The story is I like the idea more than I like the story. That's why I keep reading it. And I like the covers as well. They're cool. Silver Surfer Black, #1, very cool cover. I don't like Donny Cates' writing. It's a fact now. I don't care for it. He's not bad. It's not like he's a bad writer or anything. His character work is fine. His dialogue is, it's fine. I'm not content with fine. Not for $3.99 a month. It needs to be better than fine. It needs to be very fine at least. It needs to be at 8.0. And this is a 6.0. The artwork is very nice in this book. The story is meh. He's trying to be very operatic, but I don't feel like he's succeeding at all. Perry Comics called this Shakespearean. I don't think so. I don't think it's Shakespearean at all. I think it's I've read a few Shakespeare things. I haven't read all his works. Romeo and Juliet, Titus, The Merchant of Venice. I remember reading those three. This is not near. It's not in any way. It's just me. I'm not gonna buy the second one. I don't care for it. Doomsday Clock, on the other hand, is very, very, very good. I'm enjoying this series tremendously. It's I don't care. I didn't need the Watchmen integrated into the DC universe, but I'm very entertained. So, like, and if you can entertain me with an idea that I know I don't need, you're doing a very good job. And the artwork by Gary Frank, is just amazing. And I really love this cover. It's meta, but I love it. And the last one I'm going to talk about, Superman Year One by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. Now, a lot of people I've seen on YouTube thought this was lackluster and sort of, I guess a lot of people found it to be meh. 6.0, 5.0, something like that. To me, it's 9.4, 9.6. I'm really enjoying it. I love Frank Miller's writing, and I think that the last two things he did, which were Dark Knight Part 3 and Searches, something like that, were both. I thought he was trying too hard to mimic his voice from the 80s and the 90s, and I think he's going down a different path with this one, but he's still Frank Miller. You know, there's still those Frank Miller moments. The dialogue is just, oh man, not a lot of people can write good dialogue, but Frank Miller sure as hell can. If you haven't read Superman Year One, you should. A lot of you, I mean, if you think Donny Cates is a god, then this is just gonna go over your head. This is, I'm sorry, but this is too much brilliance in one book. And I love the format, because I love the way that it highlights Romita Jr.'s artwork. It's just amazing. There's nothing about this, and I love his take on it, Frank Miller's take on the whole story around Superman, his childhood, his youth. I wanted this to be longer, actually. I wanted the first one to be just Frank Miller being a child, and the second one could deal with his youth. I think it's going too fast, but I'm still enjoying it. I still think this is brilliant. I don't really like Superman as a character. He's really hard to write. Really, really, really hard. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale did a very fine job in the 90s, maybe in the zeros. I can't remember when they had their. It was okay. More Tim Sale's credit than Jeff Loeb's, but it was okay. But this, I'm really looking forward to the second one, and I can't remember when the last time I did that. I was looking forward to a book, because most of them are just. I'm looking forward to East of West and Southern Bastards and Deadly Class, all Image titles. So that's it. That's what I read. I definitely recommend Superman Year One. If you haven't read it, I think you should. I cried a little bit reading it. I thought it's so sweet, and it's so it's romantic. It's very romantic, and I like that. There's not a lot of punching, but that's what I loved about the first issues of Deadly Class, that it was more character driven than action driven. And I guess I gotta admit that I love the character moments more than the action moments. This is, yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful book. Just look at Romita's, like, oh sorry, here. It's really, really, it's good graphic design. It's good comic book drawing. It's really good, and the colors are amazing. Who's doing the colors? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Sorry, guy who's doing the colors. Alex Sinclair could be a girl, I guess. I don't know. In Danish it's a guy, and I think in English it could be a girl and a guy. Amazing colors. This book is really, really good. You should definitely pick it up. Doomsday Clock as well. It's a very good book. So, rounding up this video, if you haven't picked up Superman Year One, give it a try. I know it's a bit expensive, but I feel it's definitely worth it. It's not going to be it's not going to be a lot of punching and stupid villains and crazy stuff like that. It's just going to be character-driven drama with romance. The good stuff. Cheers. Bye.